Last year RRR was one of my main 5 most loved motion pictures of the year, so I've been attempting to see more Indian movies in the theater. The previous evening I went to go see Jawan on premiere night, so we should discuss it. I love to discuss motion pictures and television an excessive lot. Considering that, feel free to go along with me down underneath in the remarks segment. Tell me what was your take on Jawan, assuming you've seen it. Presently I am really new to Indian film. A couple of years back I saw Jallikattu at a film celebration, and afterward back in 2020 I checked on 3 Simpletons. Then at that point last year I saw RRR and I cherished it so. Additionally, assuming I am attempting to extend my insight into Indian film encounters with it, let me in on certain suggestions down beneath in the remark area, so we should begin. Furthermore, I'll just get to the point. I had loads of tomfoolery watching the film, and it was only a tomfoolery experience watching it with a pressed venue on premiere night. It was playing on the greatest screen at the theater that I go to, and pretty much each and every seat was sold. What's more, the best perspective I would have for the experience watching this film would be Vindicator's Final Plan or Spider-Man Not a Chance Home, where the crowd just jumped into praise at whatever point specific things occurred, yet that was the experience all through the whole film. At the point when they would do the legendary introductions of the entertainers and bring the initial characters into a scene and huge music would kick in, the crowd recently began cheering, they were whistling. It was simply a particularly fun, vigorous climate to watch a film. What's more, specifically while encountering a kind of film narrating that is new for me. I have very little involvement in Indian film, that it simply establishes a decent only climate to jump in and let loose in something different that such countless individuals love, and finding new entertainers, and that's what things like it was only a truly fun method for watching the film. Furthermore, my idea when the film began and I got the energy in the room, it made me go, man, I wish I would have seen RRR last year opening end of the week when it emerged. That would have been so cool. So as for the movie itself, as like with much Indian cinema, it's a film that covers all these different genres, where it starts off in this village and there's some mystery and intrigue surrounding a character. There's all sorts of big gigantic action sequences. There's 5 or 6 musical numbers inside of it. There's comedy, there's romance, there's politics, there's social messaging. It encompasses on a whole lot with the movie, and that's part of what makes it difficult for me to review the film at the same time as what made it a refreshing experience, whereas so much of the rules that I apply when reviewing a Hollywood movie, the way that they're typically designed and fit neater into genres, they're intended to have more tonal consistency. Part of the appeal is that all those rules that Hollywood uses, they just don't apply. They work on an entirely different level, and there's just such an earnestness to them. And on the one hand, they can be very on the nose with almost everything, whether the introduction of characters, they're always so epic and big and in slow-mo, and massive music is playing. The action sequences are huge, and cars flipping over, people flying through walls. And when it gets to the emotional scene, it's very much in your face. When it goes to the commentary about society, it's very much stated like you know exactly what they're trying to communicate. And on the one hand, it's the thing that if they did it in a Hollywood movie, I would feel like I'd be critical of it, but it's so sincere in the way that everything is done that it's intentional. It's meant to be designed in this way, so it's tough for me to evaluate it because I don't have too many points of reference to compare it to, as it's just a different way of telling a story, treating the stars' integration of genres into a single film, that it's a little bit tricky. My 2 points of reference that I really have are 3 Idiots and then of course RRR from last year. More so RRR because they're both action films, but even in that context they're still quite different. But by comparison, if I were to go through between the 3 movies, this would probably be my 3rd favorite, and then Jalat Kwachu is something quite different, but that would be of the ones I've seen the one that I enjoyed the least. This would be the 3rd on the list, where it had plenty of very cool action sequences. I don't think they were quite as memorable and as cool as what was in RRR, where the bond of friendship with the 2 characters in RRR was just so cool that when they start fighting together or when they fight each